Hey guys, BV Matson here, and we are ready to rebuild the carburetors. All right, ultrasonic cleaning went awesome today, and I got all my parts laid out. We are ready to put it all back together. I am using common motor carburetor rebuild kits. I'll show you in the kit. I already separated out the parts. Here are the parts from this kit that I do not need. So here's the full kit. It comes with a bunch of different options. So you got to really pay attention, okay? But here's a bunch of the parts that I'm not going to be using today. Now, to do this, I really recommend that you get yourself a manual. Go to the carburetor section, take a look, engine number, and figure out what your main jet and secondary jet numbers are. And then also what that pilot jet number actually is, okay? Because you're only going to use a couple of them. Here's the ones I'm not using. Got them all identified over here. I know exactly what I need, and these are the right parts for this bike. Also, your air filter mix screw is different on some carburetors. So common motor is actually pretty cool. They give you both options. I think we're ready to do this, guys. I got my caliper, so we're going to measure our floats. I've got one good float, got one good diaphragm, got all the parts all laid out, ready to go. So a couple other things that you'll need that'll just be helpful. A little bit of a gasket sealant. This Permatex is messy stuff, but it does a really great job. And then I would just have a little bit of Marvel Mystery Oil available just to help things go together a little bit better. I actually have it just in an eyedropper. I use this stuff all the time. Marvel Mystery Oil. Extremely, extremely useful. But yeah, let's get to building some carbs. All right, first things first, we're going to get the choke plate put back in this thing. These carburetor videos are going to be long just because these are a really involved process, and you don't want to go fast, and I don't really want to leave anything out for those of you who've never done it. One thing I did notice on one of the other carbs, I tore all 4 of them apart today. You want to make sure that the spring works on this piece. One of them that I was working with, it was completely janked up. So just pay attention to that. All right, with that said, I'm going to go straight to the Marvel Mystery Oil right away. I'm going to be using quite a bit of this. It works really great in just an eyedropper. I'm just going to, hit the shaft on the choke plate. And what you're going to see here is on this side, there's a little tab, okay? That's really what identifies the choke plate on these. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take this, I'm going to insert it in here, all the way straight across. Hopefully you got a good view of that. And then we're going to tip it all the way down, and it's going to slide right in. See, there's a little groove there even, that it just goes boop. Shouldn't have to bend the shaft at all, okay? Just be real gentle with it. And then once you turn it, see how it stops here? You got it stop. We know we're in the right position now. And it's going to go here, and there's actually little teeth that catch on the choke. Bam. So there we go. Choke is open, choke is closed. Now, the next thing that we need to do is we need to get the actual butterfly back in there. All right, I'm going to let gravity do a little bit of the work here. Simply going to take the choke plate, drop it in, work this around. Oh, of course I drop it inside. It's not what you want to do. We're going to take it just like that, and there it is, okay? And then as we move that, that's going to be open, so it's good just to test it like that. So that's where we want to be. Just kind of hold it in there. Oops, don't want to lose it. We're try and grab one of these screws and get that bad boy in there. Much easier if you let gravity do the work for you, okay? And you just want to make sure that that's in the right position. Like right now it's in closed position. God, you almost need like 20 hands in order to do this. Put this on. These JIS screwdrivers are a lifesaver, I'm telling you. Okay, I'm not going to go super tight until I get this other one in place. Then we'll go back in and we'll tighten these up. All right, and we should be good. So tighten these up. There, that butterfly's back in. I'm not sure if it was really necessary for me to take these out, honestly. But I wanted to make sure I use the ultrasonic cleaner. So again, on the stick, you can see inside here it says open. Choke is open, closed. Choke is closed. Everything's working perfectly. That's all there is to it. All right, the next thing we need to do is get the throttle plate back in. Here it is. This is where it needs to go. Okay, this is where it's going to go. And yeah, it's going to hook all right back on there. Okay, eventually. So again, we're going to be really careful with some of these parts. I do want to show you one thing. On this other carburetor, if you look really, really closely on the inside here, I don't know if I can give you a good look at it or not. There is one of those felt seals inside of there. Notice that. So I actually hit it up with Marvel Mystery Oil. And yeah, so I just got on that right away. Trying to, it's going to leak, right? I think it's just inevitable. So choke side, here's your choke side. So you know that your idle adjust screw is going to go on that side as well. Actually, our stop for that should be right there. Yep, and then here's our spring container for that. So, yep, that's all good. Looks normal. Just make sure these things, I can get my head kind of gets turned around a little bit. Again, and I'm noticing that my flap, okay, is going down. Okay, got my markings here. That's how it was before. So we're just going to go that route, okay? That's what we're doing. So I'm just going to grab the screwdriver, take off my butterfly valve, carefully, watching, the direction. You do not want to flip that plate. The carburetor will not work if that plate is flipped in a different direction. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my nut off of this, which I appropriately dropped on the floor. Pull this out. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm going to get just a little bit of Marvel Mystery Oil. I'm going to lube this up. Make my life a little bit easier here. All right, and then we're going to position. Okay, we're going to go straight in with the shaft. Okay, just remember, you got your order of business going on here. And we're just going to work this in. Just like that. And there's our stop. So you know you're in the right spot when you're hitting the spot there. Next order of business is to insert the throttle plate in. And what we're going to do is we're going to orient it so it comes down this way. Okay. So we're going to go like this. Slide it in. And we are going to tilt it. So it is just like that. And that is going to be perfect, okay? Give you a little bit better look at that. There is a really small little hole. See that little hole there? You want this. Oh, God. Oh, that plate slipped on me a little bit. Pull that back. Don't want it to slip like that. But I want to show you what's happening there. This little plate is actually being manipulated. It actually gets plugged by this plate. So it's really important that you put these in the right freaking way. All right, just got a little bit crooked on me there. And yeah, I got to turn it just a little bit. Just like that. There we go. See how? Let me put one of these screws in. You'll be able to see that a lot better. And it won't slip out of position again. All right, we're going to just get this in. Just like that. Tighten this down. I'm sure this is going to be a really long video, guys, but I really hope it's useful. I've actually never really dug this deep into a set of carburetors before, so part of it was I wanted to challenge myself a little bit too. Like, okay, well, let's not just put new jets in, because that's easy. Let's go a little bit deeper and learn a bit more about them. It's not so bad. I'm feeling really good about it. So there we go. There, that's on. And now if you watch inside there, see that little hole back? It's right back there by the plate. That should be closing in on that. Boom, boom, boom. So next order of business is getting this piece on. I'm going to give you a little bit better view. All right, next order of business is to put this actual throttle pull on. This is where your throttle cable actually connects to. There's a little post here that you need to put the spring around just like this. Now, don't just go and put it on here, you know, like this, because it's not going to give you enough pull on this. Okay, you need this thing to be super reactive. So just lift it up just a little bit, and then what you're going to do is you're going to turn it one revolution around, or not a revolution around, but 1/2 revolution around. And there you go. Now, as you can see here, I've got really good throttle response right here. We're good to go. All we're going to do is we're going to take our locking nut, and we're going to take our, our nut, if I don't drop it on the floor for the second time today. Tighten that on. All right, and then we're going to find our 11 millimeter wrench, and we're going to tighten this on. That's all there is to it. We've got really nice throttle response right here. Feel really good about that. We're just going to tighten this bad boy on. Give it a nice firm tug. It's got a locking washer on it, so we're good. So both our shafts are in. Our choke is working properly. And we have action right there. So it's pretty much back together from that point on. So now let's start looking at the other aspects of this. It's going to start going together real quick. All right, time to install some jets. All right, and this is where you need a freaking book, okay? Get yourself a book. Clearly says in the book, CL350 engine number. You'll need your engine number, all right? Number 35. And the kit from Common Motor contains 2 different ones. And I'm telling you, you're going to have eagle eyes to actually see it. But there is a number etched on the side of these, and this is number 35. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a little bit of Marvel Mystery Oil. And again, this is the one that has the little plug. So we're looking at this port right here. Okay, I'm going to drop this one in, and I'm going to get my little jeweler's screwdriver. I have to get a little elevation here. And we're going to tighten this up. And that's going to be our pilot jet. Just give it a nice snug fit. So there, that one's in. All right, with that main pilot jet in, we need to drop in these 2 other pieces, okay? Now just remember, okay, this is not a slotted piece, okay? Or it's not a screwdriver, okay? What we want to do is we want to just take just a tad bit of Marvel Mystery Oil, which I spilled all over my thing. And we're just going to drop this in to the right side. And then we're going to take this one and just a little bit on the edge here. And drop this onto the left side. And we're awesome. All we need to do is tap those in place. All right, next thing is just we want to tap these things into place, all right? They're just a pressure tap. Now, you don't want to go crazy with it. I've been using sticks and things, but what I don't like about the sticks is that the sticks tend to break if you don't have the right thing, and they can actually fill up your thing. So I just have my punch here. I'm just going to lightly hit this. And that should have been enough to seat that. Yep, that one's seated for sure. And yeah, it didn't mar it up. And then this one, I'm going to have to be a little bit more careful with this one. Because this punch is a little bit gnarly on the edges here. I don't think I'm even going to be able to get it in that port. Yeah, so I'm going to need to find something a little bit different for this one. All right, I think I found something. I've got kind of a soft bolt here. Fits almost perfect. So I'm just going to give this some light taps. And if you're real gentle, you can totally feel it when it sits. And then I hope you can see See them sitting in there? They're in there just about right. So I'm going to tap this one a little bit more. You certainly don't want them to come out. All right, let me hit this one just a little bit more. There. I feel pretty good about that. Actually, this one's still kind of moving around on me here just a little bit. There. Now we're good, I think. Yep, we didn't bash anything up too bad. I think it looks pretty good. Next step is just putting in the other jets. Now, this is where you need your book. Okay, this is where you need the book. And again, I really like this book. Main primary jet, that is a 70. And the secondary is a 105. All right, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to look. It's on the edge. It's crazy. So 105. Here's my 105. And here's my little O-ring. So I'm just going to take this. I'm going to lube up the O-ring just a little bit. All right. I'm going to drop this in. Okay, we're just going to set it there for now, though. Okay, we're not getting crazy beans yet. And then we're just going to set in the other one, which is just a 70. I'm just going to set this here for now. Okay. Now, here's where we start to get into the float situation, all right? We need to grab this piece. I'm going to lube this up. Okay, this drops in to here. Actually, goes this way. Okay, and that's going to get pressed in. All right. This is going to get pressed in. So I'm just going to take this. Boom. Got a perfect seal on that. And then what happens is we drop the pin in. Okay, pin goes in here, just like that. All right. I'm going to just keep working through my little parts and pieces here. I'm going to take my black plug. I'm going to put that over the one that I screwed in. Okay, black plug goes right there. All right, now what we need to do is we need to put this little brace in, and that holds this one down. Okay, look at it. See how it's got a little bit of an angle to it? All right, we're just going to go like this. Just like that. And twist this on, so this actually holds that down. Just like that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to wipe this piece off really well. I didn't really clean this too well. I should have cleaned it a little bit better. You know, look at this piece, and it's going to rock into the tops of these jets. Oops. Okay, go just like that. It can only really go one way. All right. So we're going to just set that in place temporarily for now. Next thing, we get our float bowl. Okay. Float bowl. It's going to come right in here. All right. This is just a stopper, basically. Grab your pin. Slide your pin in, just like that. And there is your float bowls. Okay. Now, before we move any further, in the book, it clearly says that you need 26 millimeters on the float height. Okay. And how we're going to measure that. This is really important, guys. You got to get this right. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our micrometer and we're going to figure out the height of our float bowls. Looks like some adjustment is definitely going to be needed. These are riding just a little bit low. So I need to move the tab just a little bit. And measuring this can be a little bit tricky, okay? So trying to give you a shot of what we're looking at here. Just trying to get on the edge of my table. You really want your float height at 26, all right? So watch the micrometer, get it right to 26. I'm right on 26 here. Oops, I was. Really finicky. You got to get this one right, okay? Got to get it right. It's one of the few things you need to do. And you can see my float bowl is just a little bit low. Let's see if I can give you a better shot of this. God, that's hard. See how it's just a little bit low? I'm at 26. Oops. Really finicky. Got to be patient on this. 26 millimeters. All right. So we need to take this out. And what we need to do is bend this little thing. All right. So I'm just going to grab my screwdriver. I'm going to push this down just a smidgen. All right. Let's see. Don't have to move it much, but you're going to have to move it just a little bit. But we got to get it right on 26. So when these bowls are hanging out, they're at 26 millimeters. Find the hole there. Slide the pole back in. There, that's feeling a little bit better, at least. So I got my micrometer back to 26. Finicky. Here we're going to look. And now, looks like I am just a smidgen high. I'm like 2 millimeters high. All right, so I need to go back just a little bit more. And again, let's measure from this other side too. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, we're just high. We're just high on both sides. So out comes your pin. And we're going to adjust it again. We're just going to move it just a little bit down. Okay. I can't believe that there's not a more, precise way of doing this job. But there's not. This is how it's done. 26. And that is right on the money. That feels really good right here. They're freely moving. Might still be just a little. No, that is right on this side. Let's go over to this side. And again, getting down in it. That is really, really, really close. Really close. They're moving freely. That's the key thing. And then we're on 26.1. Let's get it right on 26. All right, let's measure. That is right on the money. Spin this around. That is really close too. It's like this one side is a little bit higher. So I'm just going to torque it just a little bit. You got to get them both at 26. Just got to get them both at 26. That's the goal. That is really, really close, guys. Let's go around to this side. I think we're there. I think we're there, guys. I think we're there at 26. Because then the floats, right? they're all going to be regulating themselves there. So I feel really good about that. I feel confident in it. Now all we got to do is drive these other two jets right back in here. All right, last step on this side is just, let's give these a little bump in. I think those are seated. That one is moving just a little bit. Not a huge fan of that. And I'm not a huge fan of soft wood and trying to deal with these floats. That one feels, you know what, I think they might be in there. But just to be sure, let's do this. Oops. Be really careful not to hit your float. There. I think that's it. Those are in there. All right, next, before I move on, I'm actually going to check my float height again. Let's make absolutely sure it is at 26 across the board. That puppy is at 26 right there. Looks freaking spot on. And this one is spot on at 26 as well. So I feel really, really good. Really good about that. All right, next step, let's put the float bowl on, man. Next up comes putting in the gasket here. And you got to put some Permatex on it, some gasket sealer on there. But this stuff is nasty. So what I actually like to do is to grab a syringe and just pull some of that in to a syringe. And I'm telling you, it's crazy, but it works. All right, and then we can just put a nice small bead of Permatex inside of this. All right, see? It is so much neater doing it this way than any other way. Just use yourself a syringe and put a nice bead around this whole piece and then just spread it around. I'm telling you guys, this is the way to do this, okay? It's really clean. And it's really neat. And look at that. Not a mess at all. Get a syringe. That's how you use Permatex. Especially for stuff like this. Then I'm just going to grab my little house gasket. I'm going to lay that in place. And let's see. I'm going to use... Just grab my little... Get a little tapper here. Put this thing in place. Get it nice and seated. Make sure it's where we want it. There we go. It's right where we want it. Get any of the debris out. There's our float bowl. Now, let me adjust the camera here. And we do this. Okay. We're going to take this. Our plug is in place. Our jets are in place. Our float bowl height is correct. Gosh, what else do we need to be doing here? Yeah, I'm almost positive those are in. That's in. That's in. Double checking everything. We're good. So we're going to put our float bowl on. I'm going to drop it straight on. Just like that. Kaboom. Should have a nice seal. Then what we're going to do is we're going to find our nice new chrome kit that we got. Okay. I think that's on there. Is that going to go on there? Yeah, it should go on there. And we're going to put these on here. All right. It's the longer screws. The longer bolts go on the float bowl. Okay, just for reference. The longer bolts go on the float bowls. We'll just get these going. Kind of add a nice little accent too. And we're going to start tightening these up, but we're not going to just crank one corner down, okay? We're going to work our way around it. Nice even pressure along the whole plate. And we're going to bring her down. And we're going to do this just like that. All right, now we can go tight. And we can go tight. And we can go tight. And we can go tight. Boom. There we go. Hear that? Can you hear that float inside? Everything's looking really, really good. We got the bottom half of the carb put back together. I think we got a really good seal because I'm seeing some of the Permatex coming out on the edges. That's a good thing. Means we got a seal. Yeah, I think we're in really good business right now with that. So there's that part. Now we got to turn our attention to the top side of the carb. All right, the last little piece, we got to get our slide figured out, okay? So we're just going to reinstall this. This is one of my good diaphragms that I have. There's no rips. It looks like it's in really good shape. I'm just going to quick inspect it one more time. Yeah, I think it's good. Also look on the outside. Sometimes you can start to see if they're going to start to rip. This one actually looks really, really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my new needle. And this is never as easy as you would think it would be, but you got to drop it straight down in the middle of the thing. Sometimes a little pair of needle nose will help with this process. We'll just grab it with the needle nose here right on the end. Just like that. And then see the hole down in the bottom? I'm going to drop that in just like that. And it's going to pop out the bottom just like that. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your plastic piece, drop that straight down. Okay. See how that's in there like that? Just laying in on top of the needle. And then the tricky part, you got to get this darn little clip in there. So we're going to drop this clip in. Okay. See how it's laying down in there? It's going to be really tough to show you this, but I'm just going to grab a kind of a smaller little screwdriver. And I'm going to try to poke this in. Man, I wish I could give you a good view of how this works, but see it in there? You just got to get the edges to all clip. So let me try and do that here real quick. Kind of get the bottom corner, the bottom of the V, get that down first. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pull one of the other edges of the V down. Really trying to give you guys a view of what's going on here. It's really hard. Ooh, come on, almost had it. Just like a little spring. Yeah, there, got it. See how that's just laying in there? There's little grooves in the bottom of it, and that prevents the needle from coming out. So that's ready to go now. All right, back to the carburetor. And when we go back to the carburetor, what we're going to do is we're going to do our little trick again using the Permatex. All right, I'm going to move these boards just to get a little bit of stability here. All right, how's that look? Oh, gotta adjust the other just a little bit. So I'm gonna open up my Permatex. All right, and I'm gonna grab my syringe and pull some of that in. Some thick, gooey, nasty stuff, man. I'm telling you, stuff is gross. I hate working with this stuff. I really do. It's just so hard to work with. It gets everywhere. All right, and then we're just going to do a nice light bead all the way around this channel where the diaphragm goes, okay? Look at how nice this syringe helps you do this, man. Want to make sure you get a real good seal here on the diaphragm, okay? So we're good there. Seal up the Permatex. Look how easy that was. Love it. Okay, then you're going to look at this, and you've got a little tab. You've got a little tab here. So you're going to line up your tab. You're going to drop this straight in. Okay, you're going to drop it straight in. Line up your tab, and then we're going to seat the diaphragm, okay? We're just going to push this in. Let's get a really good seal. Just like that. Yeah. That looks pretty good. Now you just want to make sure any kind of spider webbing or anything that you start seeing from that Permatex, you know, you want to address that immediately. And then the only other thing left to do here, just want to make sure, because you don't want to get it, you don't want to bend it. You really want to make sure you've got a really even seal on this, because you don't want to get a crimple in like a crinkle in the diaphragm. So I'm just going to hold that down just for a second. Should be good there. And then I'm going to grab one of my covers. I'm going to take my cover. I'm going to put that on. I'm going to grab my bolts. Start putting this on. Oh my God. Guys, I forgot a major important part. Put your spring in. Put your spring in. I wonder how many of you were like screaming across the way. Dude, put your screen in. Or your spring in. All right, we're going to put that on there. I can pretty much 100% guarantee you that I probably will be buying new carburetor covers. Not super loving how this all came together. They work, you know, from a galloping horse, they totally work, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to be able to return some parts, I think, to Common Motor. So maybe once I return those, I can just maybe exchange them. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to put the cover on. And just a couple small little steps are left on completing this carburetor rebuild. I feel pretty good about this one. I know my floats are at 26. You know, we measured twice. Like, what's the saying? Measure twice, cut once. Well, just keep measuring those float levels, and you'll be there. All right, so now we can tighten these up. Now the chrome paint it's not very durable. You know, that spray paint, it's not very durable. It's doesn't take a lot of pressure, which is kind of sad. But I'm going to put these on there anyway. It's like that. Yeah, see how that paint's kind of just breaking out under the pressure? That really sucks. Clean that up just a little bit. Cool. All right, guys. We got ourselves a carburetor. Let's take a closer look. All right. There you go. There is a rebuilt carburetor. All right. Everything's working great. We got really solid action on that. Our choke is working. Now, the one thing that you can do to test it, and I learned this from Common Motor, is close your choke, open your valve, and let's listen for that the slide going up and down. Yep, it's great. Totally can hear it on my end. Don't know if you can hear that or not, but I feel real good about it. Yeah, it's moving freely in there. Bam, there's our carburetor. One down, one to go. Second one's gonna go a lot quicker. Feel really confident because we got the float bowls right. We got everything sealed up. The last little things to do, put your drain, float bowl drain plug in. Okay, I'm gonna put that in. Then the last little bit, we gotta put our idle mixture screw in as well. Let's see, so that's gonna be over here, right here. That's the last little piece. Getting tired, guys. It's getting late at night. Let's see, right here is our idle mixture screw. And this, when I took this kit apart, or when I took this carb apart, there is no washer there. You can see this washer doesn't even fit. The only thing that was there was that. And I'm going to take just a little bit of Marvel Mystery Oil, just a little bit on the threads, and we're going to put this in. Okay, so that's really about it as far as this goes. Okay, so really simple. Just put your spring in and go. Now these idle mixture screws vary a lot. Okay, they're different on pretty much, on my CB350 it was a little bit different. On the other two carbs that I took apart today, they were different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way in, okay, all the way in, like not crazy tight in, and then I'm going to come out 1.5. And a little trick, I'll show you a little trick here. I find this really useful. Going down another rabbit hole, but get yourself some fingernail polish. And so all I'm going to do, it really helps you make better measurements with what you're doing. Just paint 1/2 of your idle mixture screw a color, just like that. So then when you're adjusting it, you're always going to be able to see, you know, what's going on there. I also like to do the same thing with my, oh, that's your air fuel mix, right? Here's your idle adjustment screw. I'm going to just take a little bit of nail polish and I'm going to paint just one side of it so that you always know when you're going in and out how far you're going. Okay, just a little trick. It helps me out when I'm going through stuff. I'm going to let that dry, but yeah, what you ideally want to do is you want to take this screw in all the way and then out on your air fuel mix, all the way in and out 1.5, but they're finicky. It depends on the carb. So there, now we are officially done with this carburetor. All right, guys, what do you think? Looks pretty good. The ultrasonic cleaner did a fantastic job cleaning this up. Top doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look great, but it doesn't look terrible. We've got throttle response, choke works. We know our floats are at the right height. I hope you found this useful. Again, I'm going to put the link to the Common Motor video in the description because Brennan, or I think it was Brennan that did it, did such an amazing video on that. Actually, one other little piece that we do need to put on here is this is where the throttle plate goes on. Remember that? So our throttle plate goes on there. Or actually, no, wrong side. The throttle plate goes on here like this. And then actually it goes like this, like that. Throttle cable is going to come through here. Actually, which way does that go? I'll have to look at that, guys. I don't remember, and I'm far too tired to worry about it today. I think we made a serious killing I mean, we did 4 carburetors today. I got to rebuild one more just like this. But then we're good. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you enjoy the channel, please subscribe. And just for shits and giggles, guys, get your magic mystery oil and start lubing up this joint right here. Start lubing it up right there. Okay, and start lubing it up down in here. You'll thank me later when you're trying to rebuild this, when you're trying to tune these carbs, okay? You're going to thank me later. All right, guys. Have a great night. Follow along Instagram and Twitter at BVMatson. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. More videos tomorrow. I think what we're going to do tomorrow is do the handlebars, get the switches put back on, get the hit grips on, get that all ready to go. I'm pooped. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Have a great night.